Very good. Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this conference call for Q4 financial year 2026. We hope that you and your family are staying safe and healthy during these tough times. You are in a position to be positive during these days. I would like to start by thanking all the stakeholders for their support during these challenging times. Our employees have displayed exceptional commitment and dedication throughout the year and have worked tirelessly to support our customers. We also extend our sincere thanks to our customers who have shown exceptional patience and stood by us in these uncertain times. The sharp rise in COVID cases in recent times and the restricted lockdown in many places have slightly decelerated the pickup of an economy that we have witnessed in the previous 2 quarters. Our business activity index also shows a decline since April, with latest reading lowest since May 2020 levels. Having said that, with the improvement in vaccination coverage, we expect recovery in the activity levels in the next 2 to 3 months. Coming to the financial performance of the bank in Q4, we have further consolidated our performance in the previous quarter, both in terms of profitability and asset quality. We have been able to deliver consistent improvement in almost all areas of profitability and business development despite the disruptions caused by a pandemic. Let me give some color on the numbers for the quarter. Sequentially, operating profit for the quarter has increased by 13.66% and the net profit has increased by 24.14%. Year-on-year, operating profit for the quarter has increased by 6.69% and net profit has increased by 80.15%. For the full year, operating profit has increased by 5.02% while net profit has increased by 40.88%. Net interest income for the year has increased by 12.87%. Even in the falling interest rate scenario, as we have been able to manage our resources quite well, domestic NIM for the financial year 21 has improved by 7 basis points. Non-interest income has increased by almost about 76%, sequentially on the back of uptick in almost all line items. For full year, there is a decline of about 4%, but that also will be explaining during the course of our explanations. As we gave up a significant amount of income in the last year coming from account maintenance charges in savings bank account as well as SMS charges, fee income has remained almost stable year on year despite disruption in the first half. Expenses have been mostly under control except for staff expenses as area for salary on account of 11th bipartite wage settlement were finally paid to the employees. This has resulted in increase in our expenses ratio. On the overhead front, we have been able to manage well and keep most expenses under control except for increase in DICGC insurance premium due to the growth in deposits. Coming to deposits, our strong connect with customers and improvement in customer journeys have ensured that our liability franchise continues to deliver robust growth on a consistent basis. Domestic deposits have grown by 14% plus year-on-year basis with almost 15% year-on-year growth in savings bank deposits and more than 27% growth in current account deposits. We have added almost 4.40 lakh crore of deposits during the financial year, out of which almost about 2.36 lakh crore are the low-cost CASA deposit. Our CASA ratio has improved by 97 basis points year-on-year basis. We have a strong liability franchise driven by our brand, trust, and unmatched distribution network. And also, on an average, we have been in a position to add about 40 to 50,000 new savings bank account every day. We have scaled up our digital capabilities to further strengthen our liability franchise. We are the market leaders across digital channels with more than almost about 9 crore registered internet banking users and more than 3.5 crore registered YONO users. All these have given an unmatched ability to raise low-cost, stable deposit, which is reflected in the consistent growth in our deposit base. On the advances front, personal retail credit, which forms almost 40% of our domestic loan book, has grown by almost about 16% plus year-on-year basis and 4.76% sequentially. Our home loan book has now crossed the milestone of 5 lakh crore. Express Credit, which is our flagship personal loan product and is extended only to salaried customers, has grown 36% year-on-year basis. It is now around 2 lakh crore. SME credit has also grown by 4.24% year-on-year, as we have disbursed 25,000 crore worth of GECLs during this financial year. Corporate advances have declined 3.02% year-on-year basis. Here I would like to mention that about 70% of the limits have been utilized, and about when it comes to even term loans also about 28% are undisbursed. However, I would not like to look into the corporate advances growth in isolation, as most of the large corporates are now resorting to market instruments for raising low-cost funds. If we include the figures for commercial papers and corporate bonds, our corporate credit has grown by 2.64% year-on-year, and whole bank credit has grown by 6.53% year-on-year basis. The commercial paper and corporate bond book issued on behalf of our corporate customer now stand at 2.05 lakh crores. Coming to asset quality, our asset quality comes in this quarter and for the full year as well are better than expectation. All our asset quality ratios are showing improvement sequentially as well as on a year-on-year basis. Our gross NPA ratio has come down below 5% now, which is the lowest in 5 years. Our net NPA ratio has also come down to 1.50, slippage ratio at 1.18% and credit cost at 1.12%. For the full year is also the lowest in last 5 years. If you recall our presentations at the time of Q2 and Q3 results, we had given a guidance of approximately 6,000 crore rupees for slippages and restructuring taken together for the full year 2021. Against this, we have been able to contain the slippages and restructuring at rupees 46,416 crores, out of which fresh slippages amount to 28,564 crores and remaining 17,852 crore are the amount of the restructuring applications received. Going forward, we do not see any concern on asset quality front and we expect the trend to continue. Here, I would also like to add that we have made additional provisions towards the restructuring applications which are yet to be implemented, as also for the general contingencies to the tune of about 11,000 crore plus. The bank has continuously been investing to keep pace with the new age offering and technology-driven initiative and has rapidly developed leadership across digital channels. Today, we are significant in internet banking and mobile banking transactions as well as debit card spends. As at the end of Q4 financial year 21, the share of transactions through the digital channels has improved to 67% as compared to 59% as at the end of financial year 20. Total alternate channel transactions have improved to 93% as compared to 91% at the end of Q4 of last year. Under YONO, number of registered users have grown from 2.1 crore in March 2020 to 3.7 crore as at the end of March 21, adding on an average more than 45,000 new registrations daily. We add almost 30,000 new savings bank account daily through YONO. More than 50,000 crore rupees worth of digital loans were sanctioned through YONO platform up to March 2020. The YONO platform is being continuously strengthened to provide continuous and uninterrupted services, and we envisage gradual shifting of most of our banking processes offering on YONO platform, giving a seamless digital experience to our customers. During the year, we have added some new journeys on our YONO platforms like 24/7 RTGS facility, home loan eligibility check functionality for new customers, IFCO Bazaar Krishi Mandi, account CIF, home branch change through YONO branch portal, FASTag recharge, YONO Quick Pay, etc. We have also launched our YONO Global app with presence now in 7 geographies. We have a comfortable capital position with the capital adequacy ratio well above the regulatory requirement, and we expect our internal accruals to take care of normal business growth requirements. We are proud of the value that our subsidiaries have created for all the stakeholders and most importantly for the customers. We do have certain large subsidiaries like SBI Mutual Fund and SBI General Insurance which are not listed. They are subsidiaries which have scaled and are the leaders in their respective segments. We will continue to nurture these subsidiaries and see them that they continue to create value for the group. Overall, as you can see, it has been well-rounded performance with improvement in all areas. We expect the momentum to carry in our future performance also. With these opening remarks, I now open the forum for the questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll now take questions one by one. I request each one of you to stick to 2 questions at one point in time. Introduce yourself and then ask your question. And so only 2 questions, so others also get a chance. We'll take the first question from Nupur Anand from the Reuters. Nupur, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So Nupur from Reuters. So I just wanted to understand, get a sense first on asset quality. You did see that you do not see any major concern on asset quality going ahead. But in the current environment right now, when we are in the midst of the second wave and there is economic lockdown as well, are there any pressures that you see on the, either the small business loans or on the corporate loans or even on the retail front?
Well, I think what you mentioned, banking is one such sector which move in tandem with the macro. And I think when it comes to banks, the differentiator is how well these kind of situations are managed. So I think in this context, I would like to mention that as the macro is, there would be a situation where there would be some stress. But the most important aspect is that how we can handle such customers and we can guide them through such difficult times. So that is something which will be our approach going forward also. So we are waiting and watching how things really evolve. I think in my mind, as I mentioned, the vaccination holds a critical key. And once the vaccination goes through, I hope that the revival of the economy will be much faster as compared to what we have witnessed in the second quarter onwards in the previous years.
Right. So one more question on the credit growth. I wanted to understand that for last year you had forecasted about 7%, but we've seen lower than that at 5.67%. I just wanted to get a sense for this year.
See, as I mentioned, we are having a situation where our working capital utilization is just about 70%. And similarly, when it comes to our term loans also sanctioned, they are 28%, 28 to 29% are still undisbursed. So which means that, once there will be a positive traction in the economy, I'm sure the working capital's utilization will be seen even much better, and we will get to see the increase in credit from these quarters. So I think we'll wait and watch. It is too early because we are hoping that the second wave of the COVID will be getting us very soon, and the second wave we have some kind of visibility about the waning away of the second wave. That will be a point of time when we can actually really think in terms of the growth. But normally, if I may say, as it is expected, about 9% of the GDP growth is being talked about. And normally we have seen that it would be in the real terms. And if we add, we have actually seen that bank credit growth is generally 1% over and above the GDP growth. So I would expect that the credit growth should be about 10%. Hopefully, if the second wave of the COVID is behind us by the close of this quarter.
Thank you, Nupur. We'll take the next question from Ritu from CNBC.
Hi, Mr. Khara. You really cheered the markets last year when you gave this 2% guidance for this financial year, which now you've met for slippages and restructuring. Now that you're telling us that you expect the momentum to carry forward and you don't see any concern on the asset quality front, is there a similar guidance you can give us for FY22 as well, keeping in mind this past month and the H2 activity that we've seen?
Ritu, it would be too early for me to give any guidance because we are just seeing that how really this COVID-2 wave behaves. We are seeing that in certain towns and cities, it is behind us, but I think still we'll have to wait and watch. That's why I'm saying that maybe by the end of this quarter, which means by end of June, we'll have a better visibility. And if at all, the guidance from the GDP growth targets, which are being talked about by various economists, if at all that's the guide, then I would certainly say that yes, we are quite hopeful that we'll have a chance to grow well in this current year. But then again, it's all a very, very fragile situation in the sense that as of now, it's too early to predict. But nevertheless, that is what my overall thinking is as of.
So will it be better than 2% in the next financial year because you don't see any concern? Is that a safe assumption to make?
In terms of asset quality.
Asset quality, yes, I think we will try to maintain what we have achieved, and that is something which we will try to maintain.
Thanks.
Asset quality, I think there would not be any compromise.
Thank you, Ritu. We'll take the next question from Mayur Shetty from Times of India. Mayur, please take your question.
So I had a question on the prospects for recovery, particularly in light of the Supreme Court order that says that you can now proceed against the promoters as well for their personal guarantee. And also I wanted to know how much is the actual dividend payout?
The question relating to the recovery prospects, I think more than the personal guarantee issues, our stock which is available for recovery has already come down significantly. And how much of the personal guarantee issue will really impact? We have to wait and watch. This has come in only today, so we'll have to evaluate its impact. Your second question relating to payout on account of dividend, it is 75. No, absolute.
3569 crore is the total payout. I mean, that will be 400%.
The dividend payout ratio is 17.5%.
No.
Yeah.
Absolute amount, what is the dividend payment?
3569.
3,569.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mayur. We'll take the next question from Vishwanath Nair from the BloombergQuint. Vishwanath. Vishwanath, are you there?
Yes. Hi. Sorry, sir. I wanted to ask you. So there is this contraction in the corporate loan book, excluding your bond portfolio. I'm not sure when was the last time we saw that for the corporate loans, but some of your private sector peers have said that there is a lot of prepayment pressure actually that is coming from corporate clients. Just wanted to get a sense if that is what is causing this contraction apart from the demand situation.
No, as I was indicating, that availability is not up to the mark, because that is again a function of the demand, and working capital utilization is only to the extent of about 70% overall. So that means that when it comes to large corporate, it is even lower. So actually, there are a couple of things, and that is one of the reasons why we have started saying that the CPs and the bond books will not be ignored, because large corporates have got the option of raising funds from the bond market also. So that's why we have started reckoning that as well. We are supporting them in their efforts of raising money from the bond market, and that I think is going to be a reality for the large corporates. But yes, of course, when it comes to the mid-corporate segment and the SME space, there we are quite hopeful that we will have opportunity of seeing the growth, and that is what I was mentioning, that hopefully with the demand improving, there would be better utilization of the working capital limits, and also some of the projects for which the limits, the term loans have already been sanctioned. There also we expect to have the utilization, because current lockdown would have derailed some of such plans. But nevertheless, I hope that with the lockdown going away, these projects will be carried out in full stream, and then they will be availing these limits also, which should be to the extent of about 28-29% are the unavailed disbursements as of now. So I'm quite hopeful that we will have better utilization going forward. This is based on the fact that when we saw in the last quarter of the previous financial year, we have seen that some bit of uptick was seen in the corporate book also. But again, because of the lockdown, again it has got its own impact.
Okay, thank you, Vishwanath. We'll take the next question from Alec Angre from The Informist. Alec.
Yeah. Hi, sir. I have two questions on the TLTRO for the COVID loan book, the healthcare sector that the RBI has allowed. Are you all looking at any funding any of those companies in the healthcare sector, specifically on Bharat Biocon? There were reports about 500 crores that the bank is looking to infuse. And second question was on DHFL. So there's a recent order by the NCLT, which has asked lenders to assess the resolution plan submitted by the promoter, which was earlier rejected by the promoter. So, if you could throw some light on that.
Yeah, when it comes to the COVID book, which is expected to be created under the recent guidance which has come from RBI on 5th of May, we are quite upbeat on this particular sector, and we'll certainly support the sector. We have some plans. We have come out with few schemes also, which we will be rolling out also. As of now, we have observed that pharma sector, of course, is cash rich. Though, but still we have got some book about 4,000 crore in pharma. About 10,000 crore book is there with us, and we intend to do it in the hospitals, providing oxygen facilities, etc. So we have come out with a plan of action, and we'll be implementing that plan of action in the current year, and we will certainly be creating a COVID book as desired by RBI, and perhaps that is the need of the society and the economy.
So on the Bharat Biotech, is that line has been given?
Bharat Biotech we have already given. We have also given to Biological E also we have given the line, and also with serum also we are offering the facilities. So I think we are quite open to any such requirements, and would be more than happy to support any such requirements.
So all these lines would be under the COVID book only, and how much would it, if you can tell us the amount?
Amount, as I mentioned, that we intend to create a book of about 10,000 crore for which will be the COVID portfolio. That is one. And your other question relating to DHFL, we are awaiting. We have not yet seen the order. We have heard about it, but the final order has yet to come. As soon as it comes, we will take the view along with the other consortium.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take the next question from Priyanka here from ET now. Priyanka.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is on, you said that you expect activity to pick up in the next few months or so, but this time around, the impact has also been a lot in the rural areas and tier 2 and 3 cities as well. So I would just like to understand from you, how do you see that impacting your, individual loans, personal loans, SME loans going forward? And do you think that the impact will actually be visible in the next few months rather than, activity may come back in the, cities, etc. But overall in the country, do you not see a bigger impact coming in?
I think it is open to anybody's guess how really will it pan out. But nevertheless, since we have presence across the geographies, and we should be in a position to take advantage of the economic activity wherever it gets revived first.
So my second question is on, are you seeing any impact on fixed deposits in terms of our people digging into their savings? And is there any trend that is emerging there in terms of people digging into their fixed deposits at this point, considering the given situation?
In fact, we closely monitor the numbers. We don't see such. As of now, we have not seen any such impact.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. We'll take the next question from Joel Ribello from Economic Times. Joel.
Thank you, Ritesh. Sir, I know you've answered this Supreme Court question that you're waiting and watching, but just needed a firm comment from you in the sense of how will this impact the macro environment in terms of the IBC, the law since it came, and what do you think? Because State Bank was one of the respondents in the case. So how will it impact the macro recovery in?
See, case in particular may not impact the macro recovery environment. So I think we'll have to look at the nuances of the judgment given by the Honorable Court, and then only, in fact, it will be action taken will be specific to the judgment by the Honorable Court, and accordingly, and moreover, it will also be deliberated in the Committee of Creditors also. So then only will be the question.
Okay. My second question is on provisions, sir. I just want to clarify, your provisions are down year on year. I wanted to understand whether this is because of the change from standard line to credit line, or you all have not made any fresh provisions? Can you just clarify why it is down? If you can give us some color
It
on
is
that.
not because the asset quality is good.
No, I mean, you all have used some provision. That's what my question was specifically from the credit line this quarter. Yeah.
No. We have not used any provision. Rather, we have kept some in the buffer.
Okay, how much is that, sir?
That is about, just 1 second. Let me just. 25,000.
So where does the total buffer stand now? Right now, it's 25,000.
Just
Yes.
1 second.
Yes.
You will just wait for the figure, please.
Yes.
It is actually, if we include the provision on standard assets also, it would be 25,000. Otherwise, it would be about 11,000 crore.
And how much of this would be COVID related, sir? I mean, the COVID provision that you have.
We have the COVID related provision of 6,346, which we have not used, which we have made last year. So that we have not used, and apart from that, other provisions was about 5,000 crore have also been made.
So you are not new COVID provision.
No, we have kept it as of now for any contingency to be met.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. All the best for the new fiscal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. We'll take the next question from Ram from the Hindu Business Line.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Ram, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, what is the quantum of assets that SBI will be? Yeah.
Sorry, Ram. We are unable to hear you, Ram.
So, what is the quantum of assets that SBI is planning to transfer to NARCL?
NARCL, I think this is currently under work. We are actually working out, so I think it is early for us to share this number.
Okay. My next question is about, you were talking about, unveiled sanctions and all that stuff, So, how big is your sanctions pipeline and how much of it is unveiled actually?
We'll provide this number separately. We'll not have it.
Ram, we'll get back to you with the number. Thank you very much for your question. We'll take the next question from Anurag Saha from Z Business.
नमस्ते सर सर आपसे यही समझना चाहता था जिस तरह से आपने अभी बताया कि लॉकडाउन की वजह से कुछ परेशानियां हैं दिक्कत है लेकिन सर फिर भी जो बैंक एम्प्लॉइज है एसबीआई के भी जिनको ट्रेन में इजाजत नहीं है और भी वैक्सीनेशन का भी अभी तक मंजूरी नहीं मिली और उसके बावजूद भी क्या आपको कहीं ना कहीं सर जो डिफिकल्टीज आ रही है डिसबर्समेंट से लेके ओवरऑल कामकाज में तो उसका जो इम्पैक्ट जो आप काम इस क्वार्टर में करोगे वो अगले क्वार्टर तक आएगा या फिर इसी क्वार्टर में उसको निपटा दिया जाएगा। दूसरा सवाल सर मेरा ये है कि 31 मार्च तक जो होम लोन के ऊपर रियायतें दी गई थी वो 1 अप्रैल से बंद कर दी गई जो 30 बेसिस पॉइंट की थी फिर मई के अंदर वो वापस स्कीम शुरू की तो उसके पीछे क्या वजह रही?
देखिए 2 चीजें हैं जो आपने कहा कि कोविड के लॉकडाउन से बैंक में जो समस्या है उस कारण से ग्रोथ में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा है। कोविड के कारण से जो फर्क पड़ा है वो इसलिए फर्क पड़ा है क्योंकि जो इंडस्ट्रियल एक्टिविटी है उसमें फर्क पड़ा है इसलिए अवेलमेंट कम है। दैट इज एक वो मैं आपको क्लैरिफिकेशन देना चाहूंगा। हम जहाँ तक बैंक का सवाल है बैंक में तो जो काम होना है वो पूरा काम चल ही रहा है ऑलमोस्ट। हालांकि ब्रांचेस के माध्यम से जनरली जो भी सर्विसेज ऑफर की जा रही हैं वो जैसा भी लोकल एसएलबीसी ने डिसाइड किया है उतनी ही सर्विस ऑफर की जा रही है। लेकिन जहाँ तक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसेस का सवाल है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पर बहुत सी चीजें जो हैं जो है वर्क फ्रॉम होम भी होता है तो वर्क फ्रॉम होम में जो है बहुत सी चीजें हो रही हैं तो उसमें बैंक का कोई काम कहीं रुका नहीं है। ये एक अलग बात है कि ब्रांचेस में आकर लोग कितना काम करते हैं और बाकी घर से कितना काम करते हैं वो एक अलग एक जो है समीकरण रहेगा। दूसरा आपका ये कहना कि जो भी कुछ काम होगा वो किस क्वार्टर में दिखाई देगा ये तो सब कोर बैंकिंग पर होता है तो रियल एस्टेट पर रियल टाइम बेसिस पर होता है। जैसे जैसे जो भी एक्टिविटी होती है हम उसको मंथ टू मंथ रिव्यू भी करते रहते हैं तो इसीलिए जो भी जून क्वार्टर तक की एक्टिविटी होगी उसका पूरा का पूरा हम स्टेटमेंट लेकर आएंगे क्वार्टर एंडिंग जून के रिजल्ट के साथ।
वो होम लोन की बात कर रहे थे आप?
हाँ, प्लीज।
या होम लोन की बात कर रहे थे। 31 मार्च को फेस्टिवल एडवांस का ऑफर खत्म हो गया था, तो वो रिस्टोर करना पड़ा। जो भी बाद में हुआ, दैट बेसिकली वी रीएडजस्टेड द रिस्क प्रीमियम्स जो मई 2020 में हमने बढ़ाए थे रिस्क प्रीमियम ऑन सर्टेन सेगमेंट्स, उसको रीएडजस्ट किया है। इट इज नॉट दैट वी हैव रोल्ड बैक व्हाटएवर हैज बीन इंक्रीज्ड। सो 31 मार्च में जो हुआ है फेस्टिवल एडवांस का खत्म होने से था, एंड जो अप्रैल एंड में जो रेट दोबारा रिवाइज कर दिया था, वो रीएडजस्टमेंट ऑफ रिस्क प्रीमियम है।
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Anurag. We'll take the next question from Subhashri Ghosh from the Bloomberg.
Hi, sir. I have some clarity on the.
Subhashri, we are unable to hear you. Not audible.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we are unable to hear you.
Sir, I wanted to understand the breakup of what is the reason for the rise in the non-interest income, where you mentioned miscellaneous income has risen and there is a recovery in the OCA. What could you give us some understanding about that? What is the miscellaneous income there? And what is the reason of the recovery? Is it the pushing part recovery which has been included there? That's my first question, sir. And the second question is related to your retail lending book, which is rising very fast, and the base is pretty strong and big now. I would want to understand that whether there is an irrational exuberance there. Are you expecting that to continue in that momentum, or do you expect that to kind of taper down a little bit going ahead? Thank you.
See, when it comes to retail book, we are at around 40% now. With the bank of our size, it's very natural for us to meet the aspirations of our retail customers when it comes to borrowing. So we don't expect it to taper down, but we expect that there will be decent opportunities for us to grow in the retail sector even now also. And when it comes to the miscellaneous income which you are referring to, the major income which is captured here is the safe deposit, locker rent, CMP commissions, annual inspection charges, royalties from the subsidiaries, and other miscellaneous income. Like these are the kind of things which are captured here. I would like to mention that safe deposit lockers have witnessed a YOY increase of about 33%. And when it comes to, this is one of the major and the chunky component, which is almost about 800 crores out of 1,400 crore. And the other one is on the CMP, which is also about 900 crore. So out of 2,000, so these are the major two components which are there, especially this week.
Okay. Thank you, Subhashri. We take the next question from Abhijit Lele from Business Standard. Abhijit, please go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Abhijit. How are you?
You made reference to that you have a capital which is quite adequate to generate internal generation. That is on the equity side, but you are equally also a substantial issuer in the AT1 and Tier 2. So what is the estimate that you can give for this year that you will raise through the AT1 and perhaps the Tier 2 also?
I think Abhijit will wait and watch for the time being, because currently the kind of capital which we have, we feel that expected growth can easily be supported by this kind of a capital. I think maybe we will wait for the end of this first quarter, when hopefully the COVID-2 will be behind us and we'll have better visibility in terms of the growth prospects. That will be a point of time when we will take a call.
So another question was about the international business. The various other geographies are opening up and the demand traction is actually moving up. Can you give some outlook or sense on that part?
See, I fully agree with you that I think now perhaps rest of the globe, but more so the developed world, the Americas and the Europe looks much better and promising also. And we will be certainly looking at growth opportunities. Last year when these geographies were not doing as well, we of course were very cautious in terms of building up of our book in the international banking book. But this year, as the opportunities unfold, we'll certainly be looking at the growth opportunities.
Thank you, Abhijit. We take the next question from Aparna here from the Mint. Aparna.
Hello, am I audible?
If you can be a little louder.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
I have one question on gold loans. Where does the portfolio stand now? Is it sizable in terms of percentage of the retail book? And generally, what is the approach to gold loans? Are you seeing more demand? Are you cautious? Are you upbeat? If you can give.
So we are quite upbeat on this particular portfolio. We are at about 70,000 crore.
Yeah, I think she's asking in terms of percentage. We are about 23% of the portfolio. To home loans.
23% of the retail book?
No, gold loan. We are at about 70,000 crore as of now.
57,000 in agriculture and 20,000 in personal.
So actually, it is if we add personal and agri both, then it would be about 90,000 crore. So that is the kind of portfolio which we have. And as far as approach is concerned, we would like to promote as much as possible. Yeah, please. Yeah.
One is, of course, if you have witnessed, we have ramped up to the facility of gold loan across the country. So that has helped us to grow from 3,000 to 20,000 crores what we have on 31st March. Having established the facilities, I think we see that a growth opportunity of another 10,000 in the current financial year. And also you must remember that gold loan is a high churning game in the sense that to witness consistent growth, you need to do more number of loans. So I think the growth rate may slow down in the current financial year, but we will have the maintenance of the level at around 30,000 crores by the end of the financial year. I'm talking about personal gold loan. In terms of agriculture gold, I think we are around 70,000 crores, and I think that portfolio will be around 4,000 to 5,000 crores more than that level.
What would be the LTV, sir?
Sorry?
What would be the LTV average?
Average LTV in our gold loan is 55 to 60%.
It's around in the 60s.
60s. Yeah.
Okay.
In percentage terms, it constitutes 3.5%. That is both agricultural as well as personal loans put together. It constitutes 3.5% to the total advances now.
Okay. Actually, in recent times, there have been instances of stress in gold loans. I mean, gold being auctioned by other lenders. So, is that making you cautious?
I don't think so.
Portfolio is, we have very minimal stress in the portfolio. As you know, we go strictly by the LTV, and there's enough room there. And most of our borrowers are also coming from our own existing clientele. So we have a relationship there. The stress in the gold loan is very limited in our.
Thank you, Aparna. We'll take the next question from Beena Parmar from the VC Circle.
Hi, sir. So just wanted to know, is there any sale to non-core asset sale that has happened, and also some sale to ARCs, and what's the pipeline for both the cases?
As far as non-core, there is no such sale has happened in this quarter. And when it comes to ARC also.
ARC, we did 8 accounts during the quarter with the book value of 865 crores, all for cash. Realization is 229 crores. For the whole year, it is 25 accounts. Book value of 2,230 crores. Realization was 713 crores. 32% is the realization from this year. And it has been largely for cash, 90% cash. Except 51 crores, which was in SRs, everything is.
Thank you, Beena.
Sorry, sir, could you repeat the numbers, or is it there on the in the presentation? I couldn't hear you clearly.
In the presentation, I can quickly go over again. During the quarter, 8 accounts, 865 crores, and realization is 229 crores, all in cash. And for the full year, it is 25 accounts, 2,230 crores. Realization was 713 crores. The percentage realized is 32%. And only 61 crores in SRs, the rest of them came in cash.
And sir, in terms of your outlook or your perspective on the whole resolution process through NCLT and even OTS, could you give us a sense of how things are moving as far as resolution is concerned?
Well, I would say that, see, as far as OTS is concerned, normally we have schemes on year-on-year basis, and that is something which we will continue to do in the current year also. And when it comes to the IBBA process, I think this year now this pre-prac is another addition which has come in. So I think this will also offer some opportunity. But as far as the old stock is concerned, I think overall we have about how much was the amount which we have transferred to NCLT?
NCLT total book is about 2 lakhs, but in terms of realization percentage, last year NCLT contributed 25% of the total recoveries. Compromise and OTS was 27%. And the normal recovery from the customers constituted 39%. So more or less the same allocation may play out this year also. Maybe the composition may slightly change, but overall it will be in the same lines.
Okay. Has OTS improved, just to get a sense over the last 1 year?
Yes, in the last 6 months, OTS proportion was slightly higher.
Because last year NCLT was not as active, so that is the reason why OTS overscored over NCLT process.
Thank you, Meena. We take the next question from Manju AB. Manju, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. I had a question on what is the impact of COVID on the cash flows of corporates and MSME, and also the repayment capabilities of your retail customer. Now it's 2 months. You'll do the assessment after the first quarter, but then you're already 2 months into the next quarter. That's why I'm asking.
We are observing the situation, but it is not uniform across. So I think it's too early to make any judgment, and we'll have to wait and watch.
The credit rating agencies are putting out figures about retail loans going bad. Are you seeing anything of that sort in your portfolio? The retail loans.
As far as retail loans are concerned, we are monitoring them very closely. So the only thing is that as of now, we are not having a situation where the staff can go out and reach out to the customers for the recovery.
Right.
So that is something which is really coming in the way. But otherwise, if at all, collection efficiency is an indicator. So our collection efficiency is around 95-96%.
96. Okay.
Thank you,
and what has been the impact of COVID on the employees? I believe that SBI is badly hit because you have branches in far-flung areas and all that. So
we are almost about 112,000 employees of the bank have already got vaccinated. At least one vaccination has been given, and we are taking all possible steps to ensure that our employees stays protected. And if at all they need any kind of a support or help, they are extended all kind of support in terms of medical support, etc. So that is being done.
Thank you, Manju. We take the next question from Falaknas.
Hi, sir. Actually, you mentioned that there is a plan of action for pharma companies.
Falak, we are not audible. Falak, we are not able to hear you properly. Can you repeat your question?
I wanted to know what is the plan of action for pharma companies. You said that.
Plan of action for pharma companies. Plan of action for pharma companies.
The plan of action for pharma companies, as I mentioned, that we are very keen to support the healthcare sector, and we have already come out with a couple of schemes which are dedicated only for the healthcare sector. And pharma, as it is, we were supporting, but pharma is generally a cash-rich portfolio, and our total book as of now is about 10,000 crore. Our total book to pharma is about 10,000 crore. at the bank level.
Thank you, Phala. We take the next question from Gopika Gopakumar.
Good evening, everyone. Sir, I just wanted to ask you, are you expecting any requests for restructuring of from your retail and SME borrowers? And I believe all banks have sought extension of restructuring for the restructuring framework for corporates as well. So, in the likelihood that you receive this, if the Reserve Bank approves of this, then what kind of an impact do you see? Is there a pipeline of restructuring proposals which are there?
See, the point is that as of now, the restructuring framework 2, which is something which has come in through the 5th of May circular of RBI, we are working out the structures, how we can reach out and to all those who are affected and who can possibly be interested in availing such kind of a restructuring. So those kind of things are being worked out, and once we have the responses, we'll have a clear visibility. Because it is little difficult to predict how the behavior will be in the current year, because the pandemic 2 is quite different from what we have seen in pandemic 1. So I think we'll have to wait and watch for some more time by the time we get to have the responses from the potential customers who would be interested in availing the research.
Sir, just an extension, because of the inability of the staff to reach out to customers, and of course, there is still uncertainty, do you think perhaps a shorter moratorium would have worked or would help banks at this point in time?
See, staff's unavailability is not an issue, because if they may not be coming to office, but very large number of them are working from home. And moreover, when we have to reach out to customers, we will be reaching out to them first through the emails and through the SMSs. So that is, or maybe through call. So I think that way, that will not be coming in the way.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopika. We take the next question from Naresh from the Punjab Kesari. Naresh ji, can you just unmute your mic and ask a question? Okay, I think we're not able to. Mr. Naresh has lost his network. Sir, we'll take the last question from Vishwanath. He couldn't ask the second question. So Vishwanath, you can ask your second question, and that will be the last question for the day.
All right. Thank you, sir. Just wanted to get a sense of your aviation book has risen quite a bit during the fourth quarter. A couple of other, even roads and ports, that portfolio has also risen quite a bit. Considering that these were pretty much sectors which were impacted by the pandemic, wanted to get a sense as to, what is this growth representing? Because March last year would not have shown as much of the COVID impact as such on outstanding loans.
Sure. One is, of course, Airport Authority of India, which is 1,255 crores. Bangalore International Airport, which has gone up to about 700 crores. So about 1955 or 2,000 crores is here in the airport sector. When it comes to aviation, actually, it is only the Air India, which was also given against the Government of India guarantee. That was about 2,895 crores. And when it comes to the infrastructure, it is essentially National Highway Authority, 1,000 crores, and DME Development Limited, about 5,000 crores. So this is something which has happened. So majorly accounts which have been sanctioned are all into either government or government-sponsored entities. And other than that, we have sanctioned 2 HAM projects, and the experience of HAM is exceptionally good. So that's why we don't envisage much risk emanating from this kind of exposure.
Okay, then lastly on this Cairn decision, they've sought to attach Air India's assets. There was some fear that bank assets would also get attached. What is the SBI doing on that front, sir?
We have a standard protocol, and we All our foreign offices are invariably instructed in such matters, and we remain in touch with our legal advisors across the countries. And it will be dealt with appropriately if at all any such kind of experience happens.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for joining on this call. If you have any further queries, please reach out to us on email and we'll definitely be happy to answer them. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.